Hey there, my name's Whitney Smith. I'm the founder and CEO here at the Smith Investigation Agency. And today I wanted to talk about some scams and specifically a sextortation scam. And we've done some previous videos on this. We'll put a link below so you can check out those videos. But oddly enough, yesterday, I'm here at the office and someone calls and says, I got this weird message and, they have all this information about me and, but yet alleging that I've done certain things, which I haven't. And she's concerned and they've got my phone number and they know my husband's name. And, she's just concerned about some different stuff. So we were just talking about, how easily it could be that ultimately she has a very public persona in the industry that she's in. So it wasn't hard for us even to just immediately patch together through social media who she was, who her husband was. So these scammers likely did just the same. So we said, listen, we don't think that there's any need for concern here or hiring our services. I just believe this is a scam. And then a few hours later that night, I get an email last night. As you can see here, this is the email that came in last night at 9:31 p.m. So the description says it's from a Winfield Oliver. But when you click on it, and this is what you always need to do when it comes to correspondence and these phishing emails being sent, though the name says Winfield Oliver, that does not mean that's the person's, proper email. So if you just click on it, this is EXOIHD, Yerk at outlook.com. That's clearly not somebody's, email address, right? Most people are going to have Whitney at, or, whatever that might be. Automatically, you can look at this and think, okay, this is very scammy. 65 Cedar Point Drive, Smith. This isn't like it's my personal home address or anything like that, right? So they're finding information that's publicly available. That's great. You want to come to my office? What good is that going to do for you? Whitney. That's it, right? Very scary. Oh my goodness. And then there's an attachment. So just to bring up this attachment so you can see what they're saying. So I'm going to read this for you. Whitney Smith, it's important you pay attention to this message right now, right? They always want to put that sense of urgency to freak the individual out who's reading this. Take a minute to relax, breathe, and really dig into it. Dig into what? We're going to talk about something serious here, and I ain't playing no games. I'm glad this person is clearly from the south of whatever scamming, country they live in. You do not know me, whereas I know everything big about you. You must be wondering how, correct? Really curious. I know that calling, and he lists my cell phone number, but again, not something that you can't just find online, or visiting 65 Cedar Point Drive in Barrie, doesn't list a unit number, funny enough, would be a better way to have a chat with you if you don't act. Don't try and escape from this. You have no idea what I'm capable of in Barrie. Ooh, so scary. But oddly enough, people fall for this stuff all the time, right? Especially if here comes the next part where they maybe are initiating in any of this kind of stuff. Well, you've been treading on thin ice with your browsing habits, scrolling through those videos and venturing into the darker corners of cyberspace. I installed a malware on a porn website and you accessed it to watch, you know what I mean. While you were busy watching those videos, your system began operating as an RDP. Well, first of all, if we just grab that real quick, RDP, it's RDP meaning, oops. So they didn't even put the full breakdown because that says remote desktop protocol, where this email ultimately just calls it remote protocol. Anyways, which gave me complete accessibility into your smartphone. So first of all, it's like a scrolling habits and whatever, desktops, now it's smartphones, whatever. I can peek at everything, on your display. Flick on your cam and mic, which again, he's talking about desktop here. So which one is it? Smartphone, desktop? Oh, and I have got access to all of your emails, contacts, and social media accounts too. So if the threat's real, and the person is actually going to have access to that stuff, they would say, your profile at Whitney Smith or at whatever your social media handle is, right? If they actually had this information, they would include that for credibility. Otherwise, it's what are you talking about? First, you're making it sound like you have something on a smartphone. Then you're making it sound like you can switch my cam and mic on, which on a cell phone, you're not turning it on and off. It's automatically just there all the time. When you get these kind of emails and you can read through this stuff, you can just debunk this so fast, especially if you don't go to any kind of inappropriate websites. You have nothing to be concerned about. Been keeping tabs on your pathetic existence for a while now. It's simply your hard luck that I found your misdemeanor. I invested in more time than I probably should have digging into your life. Extracted quite a bit of juicy info from your system, and I've seen it all. Yeah. I've got footage of you doing filthy things in your room. Nice setup, by the way. I then developed videos and screenshots where on one side of the screen, there's whatever garbage you were enjoying. And on the other half, it's your vacant face. With just a click, I can send this filth to every single one of your contacts. So again, if somebody supposedly has any proof that there's something going on, you would think that they would include that. Here's one of the screenshots that I'm talking about. Here's the room that you're describing is a nice setup, by the way. So as you read these things, you can just completely debunk them. Actually, I'm willing to wipe the slate clean. Wow, what a nice guy. And let you move on with your daily life and forget you ever existed. I'm going to provide you with 2 alternatives. Option 1 is to ignore this mail, which it should just say email since he's not mailing it. You should know what will happen if you opt this path. I will send your video to your entire contacts. The video was straight fire. And I can't even fathom the humiliation you'll face when your colleagues, friends, and fam check it out. But hey, that's life, ain't it? Don't be playing the victim here. So one of the biggest things with these sextortion scams that we're seeing is really with young people, right? That teenage kind of, early teens, late teens, young adults. They do fall for this kind of stuff because they're like, oh my gosh, you're going to send it to my colleagues and my friends and my family and, my kids at university, or you're going to plaster it somewhere, right? They really get scared. And this is where they lose that ability to just read this and think like, this is so ridiculous, reading it. So that's option 1. Doesn't actually give an option 2. Otherwise, choice is to pay me and be confident about it. And then this is like a very strange, I don't know if you can see how somehow, and I don't even know how this happens, where the content is just really weird. So it looks like there's like a TM in there or something. So maybe they tried to like copy paste something. I'm not even sure. Something name is my co-piracy charges. Let's see what will happen when you select this way out. Your dirty secret remains private. I will wipe everything clean once you come through with the payment. You will make the payment by Bitcoin only. Pay attention. I'm telling you straight. We got to make a deal. I want you to know I'm coming at you with good intentions. My promises are non-negotiable. Okay, whatever. And then he gives the amount, $2,000 US, and then a Bitcoin address. So I'm just going to pull this. Actually, I got to do it from this one. I'm going to pull this Bitcoin address. We're just going to look this up super quick. See if we can find something. Yeah, 0. Yeah. So thankfully, it looks like no one's fallen for this scam because ultimately there's nothing in that Bitcoin. You got 1 day to sort this out, and I will only accept Bitcoin. I have a specific pixel with this email, and right now I've been notified that you're reading through this email. Right now on camera. Wow, cool. This email and Bitcoin address are custom made for you, untraceable. If you are familiar with Bitcoin, Google it. Unfamiliar, excuse me. You can buy it online or through a Bitcoin ATM in your neighborhood. So I like that here. You can almost tell this person's not Canadian because they said they spelt neighborhood the American way to spell it. We use a U in there. So it's, again, finding those little things that just are going to be identifiers. There's no point in replying to this email or negotiating. It's pointless. My price is fixed. As soon as you send the complete payment, my system will inform me and I will wipe out all the dirt I got on you. If I catch that you've shared or discussed this message with anyone else, your beep video will instantly start getting sent out to your contacts, and I will post a physical tape to all of your neighborhood next week. Again, my office address. You're gonna send it? Like, come on, guys. And don't even think about turning off your phone or resetting it to factory settings. I already have all your data. I don't make mistakes, Whitney. Honestly, those online tips about covering up your camera aren't as useless as they seem. Now I'm waiting for my payment. So if you get these kind of emails first, I mean, just look at that email address. It was super sketchy, right? The way that it says, what was the guy's name? Winfield Oliver. That's something right away to just, you can look at that and say, like, this doesn't make sense because Winfield Oliver is the name, and then it's this weird, email address. The fact that it just said Whitney, the fact that they're, trying to say whatever for me, if that's my office address. So clearly they don't have any information on me as an actual person. They're saying that they have all this dirt in your social media accounts, yet they're not showing any proof. They're not showing any social media handles to actually know who you are. So these are the type of things you can completely dismiss it. That and the very weird wording, here in the middle of this document where I don't even know how the lettering did that. Like, it's very strange. You would think that they would, at least read through the documents that they're going to send out when they're conducting scams. But at the end of the day, don't fall for this kind of stuff. Sextortion scams are out there and they're constantly happening. If you are online and you are sharing a lot and you're doing, different things online, don't be putting your personal information out there. Do not be sending nude pictures to people. Ultimately, we know that this is clearly a scam and we're identifying this. This person doesn't have access to phones, nothing. They're just trying to scare you. Or whoever the reader is. But ultimately, people might fall for it, especially if they are visiting any kind of inappropriate websites or doing stuff like that. But, we see again from that younger generation that, they're on Snapchat or on their, on different social media platforms, and they are sending inappropriate pictures to someone that they maybe think is an online dating companion or, something like that. And then those images are then being used against them. So don't put ammunition out there that can ultimately be used against you. Keep safe online. Again, if you have any questions or, want to drop a comment here, you can certainly do that. We have lots of content that we try and put out on the regular to just keep you as informed as possible on the type of scams that are going on. But do me a favor, don't pay for this kind of stuff. Just throw it in your trash inbox and move about your day. Have a good day.